I want to talk about Manchester City then. According to reports today, and I'll start with you on this one, Andy, they're willing to let Savinho go to Tottenham with the idea to then replace him with Rodrigo. So they sell Savinho and James McAtee and they think they might get somewhere close to £80 million for those two or whatever, and then £100 million on Rodrigo. I like Savinho when he first started last year. I thought, this guy's going to be a real problem, and it kind of faded away a little bit for City. Those wide area goals really did dry up between him and Doku. We'll touch on Grealish. He got bombed out as well. But yeah, Rodrigo to City. We're always looking at Manchester as, as good as Arsenal bid. I think we're always more terrified of Man City than we are of Arsenal. Does that one raise eyebrows, raise concerns if they manage to go and get, a Rodrigo, Haaland, Doku, maybe front three?
It seems strange that they're looking at getting rid of Savinho after, is it one season or has he been there two now? So it's one season. He looked last season actually at the start a little bit Salah in the way he moved. Now, the one thing that he's very different to Salah in is I don't think he scored for like the first 10 or so games, or certainly there was a period of time where he didn't score for a while. So he
scored one Premier League goal last year.
So the output just isn't there. I think he was injured for a while, or he certainly didn't play. He was on the bench.
They had no. The Man City, sorry to interrupt you a little bit. The Man City of old, goals from wide with Mahrez and whoever was playing on the left-hand side, they got away from that a little bit with the Haaland show. And I wonder if Pep decided, all through pre-season, it's been Mamouche on the left. And by all accounts, it might be Rodrigo on the right. It feels like Guardiola's decided, I love the Haaland thing, and listen, it won us a treble, it can work. But yeah, it can't, if he's out the game or he's injured or whatever, and needs something else. You can't rely on Doku, who is creative, but very rarely scores. And like I say, Savinho got one Premier League goal in 29 games. He's clearly identified that. And you talk about upgrades, Rodrigo almost guarantees you 15 goals minimum, you would think.
I think it makes sense, makes loads of sense as a signing, and I was really surprised both when City signed Jeremy Doku and Jack Grealish, not because they don't have individual qualities as players, because they do, just they're not very Pep Guardiola players. Pep comes to Anfield and plays Matheus Nunes on the left wing, and that actually sort of makes sense from what I think he wants to do. And I sort of thought, well, maybe I'm wrong and maybe I don't understand it as well, but they've both worked out pretty much as what I thought. And I actually think Savinho is a lot closer to a Guardiola style winger than Grealish and Doku. Obviously Grealish looks like he's going. Doku might be sticking around, but I think there's ultimately a PSR diddle there in that they get Savinho from Girona, who they own. Sorry, he goes from Troyes, who they own, to Girona, who they own, to City, who they own, and then he's going to Spurs for 60 million. Yes, all very above board and fair there, lads, but that might be coming into it. I do think Rodrigo to them it will be a good signing. But the thing I think with City overall, the reason why I'm not as worried about it is I think it's what Pep said himself. The Club World Cup legs are going to fall off around November, December time. It's essentially like all of your players going to playing in the World Cup in the summer, and none of the other teams have done that. Literally everyone is a pre-season. Normally it's like 4 or 5 year players. A couple have gone deep, and you manage them. It's literally their entire squad. And that's what would concern me about them. So even if they win their first 5 games of the season, I wouldn't overly panic from a Liverpool perspective.
Feels like a goodbye though, Dan, doesn't it? It's going to improve them. Ironically, City's issues, there was goals at times from wide areas. They didn't really have too much in the team. They've got defensive issues, which again might be something that we're going to look at later. But City, from the season they had last year, £100 million on Rodrigo. I don't think it fixes everything, but it does take a little bit of burden off Haaland. Mamouche and Rodrigo should, in theory, get way more goals.
Yeah, no, absolutely that. Yeah, and it does.
Is it a worry for you?
No, it's not necessarily. I think their problems ran too deep last season to fix again in one. It'd be January and the summer because they did a lot of business mid-season. Let's be honest, I wasn't overly impressed with the business they did. So much so that I can't remember which signing he put in, and one of them was already linked to an exit. Gonzalez was it straight away. Yeah, Kuzmanov didn't exactly wow me when he came in either, to be honest with you. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not. And again, for all the reasons Andy rightly outlines as well about the Club World Cup, will have a massive impact at some point on both theirs and Chelsea's season. I'm convinced of it. But again, losing someone like De Bruyne, because there's a point about Mamouche and indeed Rodrigo. I think they did need to spread the goals and to get more from different positions. We became so dependent on Haaland, which was fine when it worked a treat when De Bruyne was 5 in and he was just feeding him left, right and centre. He could score 4 a game. That was all well and good. When the going got a little bit tougher and De Bruyne wasn't De Bruyne anymore, and you just look at Haaland going, go on then, like, and he just couldn't, you know what I mean? So I think they are, and this is a very, very good sign. Like, he's a major upgrade on Savinho, like a major one, like silly, really, the levels we're talking about. But yeah, and I think again, I'm completely with Andy in this, and I've said this forever, certainly about Jack Grealish, less so Doku, but similar. The maverick footballer just doesn't feel very Pep Guardiola at all. He doesn't like free spirits. No. And I think Rodrigo will be more of a system player. He's played under Ancelotti, you know what I mean? He'll have to do some work. But yeah, I never really understood Grealish, to City in particular. I know we'll talk about it in more detail, and Doku is very, very similar, because players who just want to run at people and don't want to like conform don't suit him. Never have. But yeah, to the point, I think Rodrigo is a good and ever so slightly worrying signing. I'd like us to sign him. Put that.
The interesting one, I'm looking at their business so far, Lewis. Reinders, Aït-Nouri, Cherki, and then you add in Rodrigo. Like, they've very much gone more attacking minded. Even Aït-Nouri's a left back, but he's very much an attacking player. I thought Man City's biggest issues were actually defensively last year.
I think he was back in Rodri to sort that again.
And he's injured.
He's out.
Maybe that's what it is. And
he's injured again.
He's out till September.
He's not come back well at all. Like.
They said he's out till September internationally. So I mean, really, that's like 3 games.
There's no guarantee he's the same player either.
No, absolutely. Mate, and the year after the ACL, it's usually the year after the year after.
If he's injured straight away, that would be a major red flag. You know what I mean? That would be a real alarm.
I still think I think City are still a challenge. Of course, you'd be foolish to write them off, Lewis. And I think Reinders, by all accounts, again, their fans have saying he's been excellent in pre-season. We'll see how it pans out. But I still think Rodrigo's a great sign. I'm sure that he'll do well if he goes there. I still feel like they need to do something at centre-back to really show them. The idea might be that Aït-Nouri goes to left-back. They move Gvardiol centrally, but I don't think he was that great at centre-back either last year. So there might be a centre-back thing that needs to be doing. But again, you look at each player individually and they look like they've made some pretty good signings. I added to the fact, like Dan said before, they already added a couple in January as well.
Yeah, no, they've had a massive window. I think we talk about ours. Obviously, our window's been brilliant. And if we get Isak, even better so. But City's window has been really impressive. Like I said, Cherki is a really, really good one. Reinders is massive. Like, that's a really big signing for them. But like I said, then if Rodrigo is out injured, we saw last season there's clearly core problems if your entire system is reliant on that one player staying fit. There's deeper issues there. And if he does miss a lot of games this season, are these new lads going to be able to make up the defensive work that he provides? Who's to say as well that John Stones is going to stay fit? He'll probably get injured again at some point, and then you're left with Diaz and
Ake.
Yeah, but like and then Akanji is still an option as well. Like, there's players there, but are they of an ilk to be able to keep City clean sheets often? I don't know. It might just be from last season, but I just think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I don't think Pep's in a particularly great headspace at the moment. As much as they're bringing in these players now, it's something they've always done. And even last summer, it doesn't feel like it's going to just have this magical cure and effect and get them playing brilliant football again.
I agree. Have they settled, maybe a better word, on the keeper situation yet? Because that feels like this fucking
Trafford's. Yeah.
I was speaking to Big Steve, who obviously get from the Big 6 Man City fan, and he's led to believe Ederson will play for one more year, and then he'll go, and they've already got trapped. Like what we did with Mamdashvili, except that they haven't loaned him.
He's actually at the football.
He's actually going to be there for a year.
Because the Ederson stuff just went a bit messy, didn't it?
He got dropped.
Is Ortega going as well?
Yeah.
But Trafford, I like Trafford.
It's mad. Ortega's never been a first choice keeper, and he's like 30, isn't he?
Was it Bayern, or he was linked to Bayern or something?
He's always been a backup. I like Trafford. I think that. Probably a year away from doing that one, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they get on with that one. But yeah, the fact that Rodrigo for a big money sign, there's some big players coming to the Premier League for big money this summer. He could be the latest of them. Whether it pans out, let us know your thoughts, comment section, all that kind of stuff. Is a City more of a problem now, given the business that they've done so far? Does Rodrigo, if it happens, change that? Again, the Rodri injury is definitely something that we're all keeping more than half an eye on, because the fact that he's already out till September on the back of an ACL. Having played a little bit of Club World Cup, he might not be nowhere near fit enough, and he was officially the best player in the world before the injury. That's definitely something they're going to keep an eye on. I still think they need a centre half. Let us know your thoughts on that one.
That was a clip from the Biased Football Podcast. To check out the whole show, head to redmenplus.com or click the link in the description.